Who's ready to hear from Noah Toly? I have the honor of introducing this guy. I think a lot of you guys know, like, Noah Toly, you guys know, he's Canadian, he's handsome, he's done back-to-back Golden Doors, like all of this dope stuff. But I think what's really cool with this training is like, today you guys are gonna see like some of the behind the scenes with Noah. And I've worked really closely with Noah. Like, something that a lot of you guys don't know is that Noah has like pretty severe like OCD. What's cool about that is like he doesn't make that his personality, and he also doesn't make it an excuse for him not to go do this job. This job is just extremely like mentally challenging. If you've knocked in here or if you've knocked doors before, you know that this just like really is a challenging job. And not only has Noah done this super elitely, but he's literally been doing it with like a weighted vest the whole time he's done it. Like talking to Noah, he's like, this is actually probably the worst job for my mental health. And like, that's why I go choose to do this. So Noah's inspiring. He's one of my heroes. And who's ready to learn from Noah? Okay, I'll pass it over.
Wow, the music. Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for like showing up. If I start moving, it's just because I like to move. I know there's like tons, like I don't know how many people are on the Zoom link, but there's loads. And there's a lot of people from like my hometown. There's people in Canada. For those that don't know, I knocked in Canada my first year because I'm Canadian. I was at Vantage Marketing for 3 years. So the last 2 years I've been at Grit Marketing. In the last 2 years, like Tyson said, I've been able to Golden Door. And so that's what you guys essentially see when you see Noah Toly, is you just see like he's that guy that like Golden Doored, he was on the landing pad. But I want you guys to know that like I am not a door-to-door guy. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy that has passion, a guy that really cares. And I hope I can deliver feeling to you guys. I hope you don't just like hear the words I say. I hope you feel something. As humans, we operate in energy. And so before we start, I want everyone to like take a deep breath in, and then out, and then in, and then out, and then in, and then out. So my intention here today, with Grit and Grace, this is a platform that I just started. It's going to be a brand, but more importantly, just a platform. And the platform is to help people become their own biggest fan. And so I totally want to be completely separated from this training. So I don't want you to be like, Noah Toly's giving the training. I just want to be completely separated from what I'm about to say today. So, like I said, this is what you guys see. You guys see the swaggy, fancy Canadian tuxedo with Sam Taggart. You see the NZ stats. But there's way more. There's way more to me, like I said. This is what I see. So the most important thing you guys can understand is how to connect to everything, but not attach to anything. And that's one thing that will serve you guys, especially in the door-to-door space, but not just in the door-to-door space, in life. Too many people are attached to a false identity. This is my identity. Little Noah, this is me. This is my biggest fan. So, backstory, like Tyson said, I have like OCD, whatever. It's kind of like gnarly. It's really gnarly. And it's the most misunderstood mental disorder in the world. It's ranked 7th in the most debilitating illnesses in the world. And so 6 is cancer. So just to give you guys an idea, it's very, very misunderstood. When growing up as a kid, I remember crying in the shower at age 10 And I would cry in the shower every day, and I didn't know what was occurring. I didn't know what was going on in my mind, and I remember feeling so much anxiety coming home from school one day, and no one knew what was going on. This was like 15 years ago when this whole mental health thing wasn't really talked about, and it definitely wasn't fully understood. 15 years go by, I pretty much felt completely detached and disassociated to who I really was. I was just a body living and breathing and surviving. But somehow I found a way to still do pretty dope shit despite not even being in my body. About a year and a half ago, it got to a point where it was either I was going to die or I was going to do something about it. And so I had tried everything. Every type of medication you guys can think of. I tried every type of therapy. I saw the guru doctors that you would never even think I would go see. I traveled all around the States to find someone to help me, and I couldn't find anyone. Up until January 2025 is where I decided to pretty much go to an outpatient facility. It's in Orem. It's the OCD Anxiety Center. And when I was there, I did pretty much a test with the people at the OCD Anxiety Center, and the therapist there, he said to me, he went, this exact quote, he said, based on the DNA that you have and the level of OCD that you suffer with, you shouldn't be functioning. You shouldn't be able to do really much of anything, considering how severe it was. Then I went to New York. I saw a doctor, functional health doctor, and this was after my first Golden Door. And he looked at me and he said, door to door on paper is the worst occupation, Noah, that you could possibly do in the world. And he said, are you good at it? And I said, I'm damn good. And he went, and we just looked at each other for like 1 minute. This is weird. He's like, that doesn't make sense. So I wanted to talk about 4 laws. Laws that I learned through therapy. And these are laws of life. And I want everyone to understand that door to door is just a medium. It is not life. And the faster that you can detach from the identity of being a door-to-door sales bro, the faster you will actually reach your goals and maximize who you really are. And so as I went to therapy, I roll up right after my Golden Door. I won a 50 grand bonus. I was the top switchover at the Grit. Just bought a Porsche. I roll up in my red Porsche. I'm thinking I'm sick. I'm cool. I roll up to the OCD Anxiety Center. And I sit down, and there's a group of 20 people. There's an 18-year-old girl that just turned 18. She's got blue hair. There's a girl who's about 21. She can't look at anyone in the eyes. There's a 65-year-old farmer sitting next to me. There's a 300-pound guy. And there's me with a ton of other guys that I don't know why I was in the room. I didn't understand. And I'm sitting there, and I realized in that moment that nothing else mattered. And the only thing that really mattered was understanding who we really are and becoming our own biggest fan, because they didn't care about the car I drove. We were in the same position. You know, this is probably the girl I would have thrown the dodgeball at in high school. And she didn't know who I was, I didn't know, and all I knew is we looked at each other in the eyes and we were both suffering. And so these are the 4 laws that I learned through therapy. And so it was 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 3 months straight. I went into that room with all those people, and I grew to love them, and I grew to do group therapy with them. So the first law that I learned in therapy, and once again, I want everyone to understand that these laws are not door-to-door laws. They're life laws. But as you apply the laws of life to door-to-door, you'll get life results, not door-to-door results. If you guys want door-to-door results, it'll fade after about 5 minutes. Life results last forever. So the first law is the law of embodiment. This is doing anything that aligns with your why or your purpose. Here's the issue that we face today and door to door, and especially with like the Gen Z guys. Who's all Gen Z? Who's like in that 18 to 20-year-old range? Throw their hands up. Hell yeah. We love you still. Unfortunately, in the generation we live today, we celebrate the things that don't matter. And we celebrate not caring. We celebrate being nonchalant. That's a major issue. When we celebrate not caring, the things that matter most are put to the side. We're made up of 3 things, you guys. Our body, our brain, and then our core, our soul, who we really are. And the issue with life is that we try to combine those 3 things, and it doesn't go very well. Your body is always seeking comfort. Your brain is always seeking certainty. But your core, your soul, it actually knows the truth, and it knows who you really are. So when you're on the doors and you're really struggling and you're really having a hard time, your body's hurting, it's September, it's hot, it's 80, 90 degrees, your brain is going into all these different spirals, the one thing you can rely on is your core identity, your soul. That's the most important thing, is your soul. So what's the solution to be able to combine a body that works against you, a brain that works against you, but a soul that wants to work perfectly with you? It's creating alignment. And how do you create alignment? Is you have a why, a purpose to doing everything that you do. If you guys don't have a why for doing what you're doing, life feels empty, and you don't act in an authentic state. Authenticity is the highest form of frequency. When you aren't acting aligned, you are acting out of frequency. Hence why people, when the going gets tough and the rubber meets the road, especially in the summer, money, the calculator comes out in June, that goal that I set in fall, I'm just going to push it under the rug. Those that have a deep meaning and a deep why for what they do, the how and the what become irrelevant. So we hear this quote, and you guys will hear this: sales is a transaction of energy. So what are we talking about? If sales is a transaction of energy, why are we 95% focusing on the pitch? Sales is a transaction of energy. And any vet knows that as sold, when you guys are on a heater and you're selling really well, why are you selling well? Does anyone have any thoughts when you're on a heater? Why are you selling well when you're on a heater? Who has some thoughts? Yeah. Say it again, louder. You feel good? Why else? Why else are you selling really well when you sell well? Who are the vets here? Yeah. Scream it. By the way, that's Ryan. He's a 2-time Golden Door. Exactly. When you're selling well, you're aligned. Your body, your mind, your brain, they're all one. And as you become one, you act in the highest frequency state, which is authenticity. And that's what we call flow state. When everyone talks about, dude, I'm in flow. Why are you in flow? Because your body, mind, and spirit are working as one. So how do we get them to work as one? We create a deep enough why, so when the going gets tough, the how and the what become irrelevant. If you don't have a deep enough why, you will not be aligned. And this is a life thing. When your external performance does not match your internal experience, There is one universal response, and that is we feel hollow. We feel empty. This is the death of authenticity. So when you guys go out in the summer, if you have a deep why, you are living in a state of authenticity. When you don't have a deep why, your body's over here, you're feeling things, your mind's over here, and your soul is like, bro, we need something. One thing about me is I can never do anything unless I have a meaning deep within. Money is never an issue. I didn't calculate the commission on my golden door until after I hit my golden door. So money is never a motive for me. I never think about money. I'm autistic, low-key. I don't do numbers. Money is just not part of the equation. Second one, law of exposure. And this is going to be really good. The law of exposure is the intentional practice of stepping into discomfort, uncertainty, or fear, while choosing not to fall back to old protective reactions. This helps you rewire your identity and expand your actions. So what's the problem with our world today and how we choose to live? The problem is we avoid everything and anything that is uncomfortable. And everyone knows the world we live in today, it seeks convenience, and anything that's inconvenient, we run. And so I want everyone to think of, whether you're in door-to-door or not, what scares you? What actually scares you? What's a fear that you have that you've been avoiding? Because the more you avoid it, the worse it will get. Bear. Grizzly bear. So in therapy, we were taught this. If you see this thing running at you, what is your first reaction? Anyone have any answers? Yeah, you're running. So the same goes with our brain. When we see a bear, we run. And what happens is we actually tell our brain that the bear is a threat. When you tell your brain the bear is a threat, you create actual habitual thought patterns, and your brain is wired to think of that as a threat. So I want everyone to think of what their bears are in life. And this is what happens. This is life. This is what happens on the doors. This is what happens in life is we all experience triggers. We have a perceived threat. That causes anxiety. So we got the bear, which causes anxiety, and then our urge to neutralize, which is to run away. That confirms the threat to our brain, and then it's just this vicious cycle that's repeating over and over and over again. And this is something that, you guys, no one's really fully understanding what's happening in their mind. When you guys choose not to lean into a threat or into something that scares you, you are hurting yourself more than you'll ever know. And we're all doing it. We all do it. We lay in bed and what do? We hop on our phone and scroll. What is scrolling? Scrolling is the urge to neutralize. You're confirming the threat that laying in bed and being still and quiet is bad. And so now you guys are developing all these addictive behaviors in your mind without you realizing it. And this goes for the doors. So what's the solution? Doing things when they feel uncomfortable. Whenever you feel uncomfortable and fearful, you do it. This trains your brain and the neuroplasticity of your brain that it is not a threat. The more you treat it as a threat, your brain will rewire to it being a threat. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Okay, cool. So, door to door. This is what's going to happen. You guys get out in the doors, and here is all the triggers. For every door-to-door rep, this is every trigger you'll ever see. So what do we got in the bottom right? We got the power box. Oh, it's 7 p.m. I'm at zero deals. The cute girl that I was messaging before the summer, she's at Lake Powell. Maybe I should go sit on the power bench and not knock doors. Boom. You've already created a behavior in your brain that's going to repeat and recycle. And everyone's doing it. I promise you, everyone's doing it. the Karen in the middle. Oh, I don't want to. You see, you know it. You get into a hood and you see that Karen doing her gardening, and you're like, segue by her because you don't want to go talk to her. Boom. You just created a pattern in your brain, and you're telling your brain that that Karen is a threat. And so now every time you see a Karen, what are you going to do? You're going to avoid her. What I do is I go to the Karens. The car, we get into the car, you get dropped off. What's the trigger? I want to sit in the car. I don't want to get out and knock. What do? I park my car and just get out. And I just get on my Segway and then go straight to the doors. For my understanding, for you guys, I suffer every day in the summer on a level that most people I don't think would fully grasp or understand. I have intrusive thoughts going every second of every deal of every day. In between doors, I'm worried if I was honest to John, the door before, and then I'm worried if I'm honest to Sam, and then I sell Sam, but I'm overthinking why I sold Sam on that if I was honest, and then I'm on the next door, and I'm doing this all day, every day throughout the summer. And the reason I do it is because I lean into the threat. It builds my mind, and it builds my strength. So these are all threats within the door-to-door space that you guys cannot neutralize. And if you neutralize, your summer will tank. It will tank fully. And this is like law. Like exposure response prevention reduces symptoms of fear by 50 to 70%. Exposure response prevention, literally, it's right there. Reduces symptoms of fear 50 to 70%. So the more you avoid the things that are hard, the more you're living in a fear state. If energy matters, fear is at the lowest frequency of state. So you guys need to be in the highest frequency of state. And this turns into a subconscious thing. No longer is it a conscious thing. As you rewire your brain, the subconscious mind takes over and things just are habitual. Doing the hard things are normal. Third, the law of empathy. Providing yourself with the same sensitivity and unconditional wish of happiness and well-being that you would wish for someone else. So this is where it gets weird, because we're in this door-to-door space where everything and anything is ego. We work in an industry that is so focused on ego. Everyone wants to be the top dog. Everyone wants grit marketing to post them up on the post. Everyone wants the clout. Ego doesn't serve any of us, and it will never serve you and your goals. And so the law of empathy is this. The problem is self-criticism. And I want you guys to really listen to this, because this is key. I've done the job at a high level. I'm also kind of a hard ass. So for me to now teach on self-compassion, to you guys, you might feel this is kind of weird. This isn't a typical door-to-door sales training. But I promise you guys, self-compassion is one of the major keys that will help you reach your goals. Dallin Peterson, who knows Dallin Peterson? Hands up if you know Dallin Peterson. The best rookie ever, and I don't know if he's listening, the best rookie ever. He sat down with me the other day, and I don't fully know why he wanted to talk to me. He sat down with me, and he said, dude, I don't know. Like, I want to beat Seeger's record. Can you help? Like, what do you think I need in order to beat Seeger's record? Well, I don't think it's the pitch. I don't think it's a sales process. I think it's pretty damn good. The one thing that we found, me and Dallin Peterson, was that he lacked a ton of self-compassion, and that he was living life in a fear state. Once again, guys, energy. Fear is one of the lowest states you can live in. Authenticity is the highest frequency. If sales is a transaction of energy, you always want to be in your highest frequency state. If you're living in fear, say goodbye to your goals. So that was something with Dallin. Now, obviously, the solution. What is the solution? Self-compassion. Self-compassion is not flowers and unicorns. It just isn't. When we think of self-compassion and mental health, we think of like everyone like holding hands together and like singing a song. Self-compassion is not flowers and unicorns. I don't have my glasses. I gotta go put my glasses on once I can't see. Ouch. So obviously it does not involve simply giving yourself compliments and permission to run away from fears and struggles you may experience. The practice of self-compassion involves a deep commitment to not only treating yourself with love and self-respect, and this is the most important thing, but also standing up to fear and being intentional about no longer allowing fear to make choices rule your life. That right there is one of the most important things. The highest form of love and self-compassion is leaning into fear. The highest form of self-compassion is leaning into your fears. Running away from your fears is not self-compassion. It hurts you. It hurts. And I lived a life way too long of running away from my fears, and it hurt me. So an application that I do, and this, like I said, this may sound weird to the door-to-door space, but in order to get weird results, sometimes you got to do weird things. And this actually isn't that weird. This is pretty normal. Journaling to your younger self. So an invitation I have for everyone after this is to think about some of these things that you can do. So think of him or her following you. This last summer, one of the main things I did that helped me throughout the summer was I imagined little Noah. We're all indoors alone. I imagined little Noah beside me in every car ride. I imagined Noah. I imagined little Noah in every home that I went in. I imagined little Noah in every backyard I went in. I imagined little Noah everywhere I went. Because that's who I really am. I'm not a door-to-door guy. I'm just Noah. And so when he follows me around, I want to make him proud. I really want to make little Noah proud. And if you guys sit down and you develop a sense of self-compassion and you think of yourself as a kid, I promise it'll move you places. I promise you'll do things that you don't know or think you could do. Your younger self is who you really are. You are not a door-to-door bro. You are just you. And you're special. You're unique. You truly are. You really are unique. And I want everyone to know that. Another thing that I did was I developed and statements. And so this helps with self-compassion. I can be a good sales rep and still have a bad day. I can be a really good manager and still have bad days as a manager. I can sell really elitely and still have bad days. We live a world where we don't have any ands. It's all or nothing. And when you live an all or nothing life, goodbye to self-compassion. And lastly, have courage to do the uncomfortable. Does anyone know, I think everyone probably knows the guy on the right. It's Jesus, legend. Does anyone know the guy on that's not Jesus. That's not Jesus. Sorry, left is Jesus. That's not the Jesus that I know. That's not Jesus. Does anyone know who the guy on the right is? Cal. Tim Grover. Tell him who Tim Grover is.
He was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's personal coach.
So, why do I have a slide with Jesus Christ and Tim Grover, the complete two opposites? If you guys know Tim Grover and you listen to his books, he is Winning and Relentless, and it is some of the most hard-ass material you will ever read. He trained Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and Michael Jordan. 3, if not of the top 10, top 5 NBA players ever. And if you guys know Kobe, when you think of Kobe, I think of just hard ass. And I think of someone that doesn't care. When I think of Jesus, though, does anyone have any thoughts on what they think of Jesus? Perfect. Any other thoughts on who Jesus is? This isn't preaching, by the way, but just like he's just a historical figure as well. Anyone have any ideas on Jesus? Everything. Wow. Give me more. Anything else? Passion. Anything else about Jesus? Loving, right? Jesus has a quote, it's crazy, scripture, you could say, to become as little kids, to become as little children. Tim Grover, he has the exact same quote in Relentless. Tim Grover talks about how true winners connect with their inner child. It's in Relentless. So we're talking about one of the hardest trainers to ever live. He's very well known in the athletic world. And then we're talking about Jesus. And both are suggesting that we connect to our younger self. And not only connect to our younger self, but become as little kids. When you were a little kid, everything was instinctual. There was no fear in the future and there was no fear in the past. You just did. And you just lived. Lastly, the law of endurance. The ability to give everything when you feel like you have nothing. And this is the law that often goes unseen. This is the law that people quietly suffer with. This is the law that usually isn't on the news. This is the law that usually isn't on the Instagram pages. And this is the law that truly changes who you are. And I like to just say it's the bucket and the mop. And what the bucket and the mop means is simply just doing. When everything feels dirty, when everything feels heavy, when everything feels scary. It's crazy. I get emotional looking at a bucket and a mop. But when everything gets to those places, I think of the bucket and the mop. And the reason I think of the bucket and the mop is this. I remember with a friend, and we were living together in the kitchen. This was about 6 years ago. In the kitchen, there was like an ant infestation in the ground. It was really gross. And we spilt a ton of spoiled milk all over the ground. And I remember being like, bro, like, he was like, we were like thinking that we were gonna clean it, and I was like, dude, no, I can't. I'm like looking like a little girl, like I'm like jumping up and down. I'm like, I ain't touching that, bro. No. And he just looked at me and said, grab the rag and can wipe it up. And I was like, whoa, okay. And so I just grabbed the rag, and I just wiped it up. And it was done. Too many times are we complexing just doing. My favorite thing to say in the summer is, if it's easy, do it easy. If it's hard, do it hard. Just get it done. And sometimes we want everyone to give us the answers. We want all the therapy. We want all the exposure therapy, the self-compassion. The reality, guys, is some days and weeks, nothing works. And you just have to show up for yourself. I don't have a sexy phrase for you guys. Some days it's just a bucket and a mop. Some days it's just a bucket and a mop. I've been pretty good. I've done a really good job with that last law. done a phenomenal job with the law of endurance and the bucket and the mop. And I want you guys to know that it's always worth it. And especially when you have meaning to doing something, it's always worth it. This bottom picture is me 40 pounds lighter. I lost 40 pounds my first Golden Door. I was in the emergency room. I thought I had an appendix. It was the day before I hit my Golden Door. I almost passed out on the road. This is me pretty much passed out on the road. The other picture is me running a 4x4x48 with no training. It's been done before, it's not that crazy, but I wanted you guys to see that sometimes it is just the dirt. And sometimes it's dirty, and sometimes we just need a bucket and a mop. And the last picture is 12-year-old Noah. I love this picture. I don't know why I love this picture so much, because there's a lack of care in the world for what we do, and it's really cool to care about what we do, you guys. Whether it's pest control, whether it's door-to-door, whatever you guys do, it's really cool to care about what you do. And the world right now is all about nonchalance, all about not caring. But I promise you guys, as you care about what you do and you have meaning to what you do, the world is yours. And that's me as a 12-year-old. I wore ankle weights for 3 weeks before the track meet. Pulled up to the track meet. I was against 2 other guys. There was a first, second, and a third. I think I beat the guy by like an inch. And I was so proud of myself. And to this day, I'm so proud of little Noah, because ultimately little Noah is who I really am. I'm not the door-to-door guy. I'm just Noah. And the byproduct has been Golden Doors. The byproduct has been doing well. Your why is everything. So the Grit and Grace platform, and this is what I'm going to end on, is essentially a platform to help you guys. This is a platform for all door-to-door sales reps in the whole entire industry. And I know there's guys on the call on the YouTube link. Hopefully maybe you guys can see this. But this is my Instagram. This is my number. I'm going to be starting a brand and a platform to help pretty much anyone that wants to be great despite any mental challenges that they have. It's a support system for you guys to actually reach your goals by someone that's done it. I'm not like a 80K rep who's trying to tell you to have self-compassion. No, I've sold at the most high and elite level, but I've suffered at the highest and elite level. So I can understand and I can help you guys. And I was going to say this was my last slide, but the last thing I wanted to read you guys was a quote. And this is a quote I have. This is a quote I have actually on my mirror. I wrote it down on my mirror, and I wanted to read it to you guys because I think if everyone can understand this quote deeply and understand what Marilyn's teaching, we can live a life of abundance and actually be in an authentic state and stop living in fear. And maybe you guys have heard this quote. I'll read it right here. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We were all born to make manifest the glory of God. It's not just in some of us, It's in everyone. And and this is the part I want everyone to remember. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That's the mission of Grit and Grace, is to be so liberated from my fear that I can give you permission to be liberated from your fear. And as we escape fear and lean into the scary things, we actually connect to who we really are. And you guys are all amazing. You guys are all capable of really doing incredible things, whether it's door to door or not. And I fully believe, I have a delusional, radical belief in myself, and I can honestly say before you guys that I am my own biggest fan. I am my own biggest fan. And that is my goal with Grit and Grace, is to help you guys say the same. I love you guys, and that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate it.
That was so sick, bro. Okay, dope. Who thought that was sick? I've been selling for 7 years. I've never heard anyone do a training like that. That is just like, that is something that like door-to-door people just like do not get. Like over and over, I cannot hear the amount of times where it's like, be gritty, bro. Dig deeper. It's raining. Go do it. Like, come on. Like, guys, like this stuff actually works. Like I promise it works. Noah's done it over and over. Like it works. It'd be really dope just to hear like a few takeaways from the training. Let's take like, yeah, Chris. Yeah, that was such a bar. Leaning into fear. The reason Noah is so good at this job is every time he's uncomfortable, he just does it. Like I've dropped this guy off an area hundreds of times, and he's never twiddling on his phone. He's never scrolling Instagram. We park, I look at him, he gets out, goes and knocks the door. Like, it's crazy. That was so sick. What else? Brooke? If it's easy, do it easy. If it's hard, do it hard. Like, there's just days when you just do not want to get out. And, like, there's just weeks when you're not feeling it. And, like, guess what? When you're a dad, when you're a mom, like, I'm going to guess there's probably weeks when you're not feeling it. And you're just going to have to do it. Noah's an amazing example of, like, that person. He's inspiring. Who else? Yeah, just get up and do it. Like, it's the anticipation of the event that's like worse than the actual event itself. Like, Noah does cold plunges. How often do you cold plunge? He does it every day. Like, who here sat at a cold plunge and you look at the water and you're just like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, you don't want to get in, but if you just get in, it's not that bad. You just got to get in the water. So you just do it. Let's take one more. Cal?
Anytime I've ever had that flow state or been with those huge weeks, the huge month, it's because it's like me being little Cal when I was 5 years old, running up to my mom. Like, same thing with Noah. And just realizing that and just being authentic to yourself is what's going to change everything for yourself.
Yeah, that was so sick. What Cal was talking about was just being authentic with yourself, like forgiving yourself. Like, people that are really good at this job, they don't go through sales slumps. I've never seen Noah in the whole time we've worked together. Like, I've never seen this guy go into a sales slump. And the reason he doesn't dip into sales slumps is because he doesn't beat himself up. Like, so often people will be like, dude, how do I get out of this rut? Like, I'm in this rut. Dude, I'm in a bad month. It's a terrible month. Noah doesn't have bad months. He doesn't have bad weeks. And it's because he doesn't, like, beat himself up. Every once in a while, there's a fluke. Like, that just happens. But that was so sick. Let's give another round of applause for Noah. Cool, I think we got pizza in the back here, and then if everyone could just grab their chair and throw it on one of these chair racks, it'd be great.